What is going on? What is going on? Welcome to this week's episode 190 of the STS Guys. And I am Jeremy.
Hey, it's Larry.
And I'm Scott.
And we are the STS Guys, a weekly podcast where we sit around, shoot the shit, and talk about anything geeky, nerdy, and cool. What is going on this week, guys?
Well, I would say it's been a week.
It's been a week.
It's actually been a couple of weeks because
So we'll say it's not been a couple. It's been several.
Yeah. Well, the iTunes called us out for being a bi-weekly podcast.
We're just going to take it to heart.
taking it to heart.
Your favorite bi-weekly podcast.
Ed's here in the chat. I see him. Ed posted up the thing. I think it was the first weekend when you guys were Comic-Conning, right? Or Larry, you were Comic-Conning,
I was,
right?
and Jeremy's at a concert.
Yeah, and Jeremy was at a concert, and we're like, oh, it was playing. He was like, oh, waiting for this show to start or whatever on his set. I was like, oh, man, I feel bad.
I did too, because I think I'd just gotten home. Like, that was Saturday. I just didn't think about tweeting something out, and Ed called me out for it. So, thanks, Ed.
Yeah, like that's just it's weird. Like normally, like I said, Nate's the one, with a life and activities that he has.
Case in point today, a social calendar.
Yeah,
fair.
But apparently, so over the last couple of weeks, I know I personally have had like crazy weekends of events and things going on, and like I said, just where it just hasn't worked out. Like it's been good.
It's really been a busy 2 or 3 weeks. Like it's unusual. And Nate's out again because he's doing cool guy stuff. But he was available that week when I was in Dallas. So
yes, and when I was at a concert. But yeah. So I got to say, in your face, Nate. Like you're not the only one who has a social life.
Real life friends.
Weird segue, but Jeremy, didn't you, if I'm not mistaken, since we last talked, you actually went to 2 concerts.
I've gone to 2 concerts at the same venue. So just to fill everybody in. So the very first concert I went to, the one when we missed the very first time, was I went to the Korn and Stained concert. It was awesome. Seeing Jonathan Davis live, just sings. They had some basically the entire back catalog of awesome Korn songs. Like I said, that was fantastic. Plus, I really like the venue that it's at. Like, no matter where you're at, like I said, especially if you're in the first kind of the lower level seating, like they're really good seats and they have a really good sound system. And then they have these super high def LED screens, like I said, on either side of the arena, plus an upgraded sound system. So it's a nice venue. Like I said, for an outside venue, it's super, super nice.
What's it called? Germania Insurance Amphitheater. It's actually tied to the Circuit of the Americas, which is the actual Texas MotoGP official MotoGP track. Cool. I didn't know that.
So it's the concert venue at the racetrack.
Yeah, basically they have an amphitheater for some reason, is as well as rides. So so Jeremy saw Korn, that was that Saturday. The next Monday, not my choice, we went and saw Maroon 5 at the same place. So we went there. Like Jeremy said, it is a cool place. We were in that kind of lower section too. It was good seats. But there's they had some rides there and stuff too, like amusement park rides. It was a weird kind of little spot. Like I wasn't sure what to expect. Shout out to Jeremy for the tip on the paid parking, because paying that $20 to park a little bit closer, it's actually not even a little bit closer. It's a lot of bit closer.
Yes.
I kind of ended up cutting in line, and I got one of the 4 last spots apparently. So that worked out very well. And we were in and out super quick because we got the, rather than the free parking, we paid $20 to park closer.
You're welcome. Like I said, it was totally 100% better to do that. Lessons learned during the Korn concert, because as Larry was saying, I said I've been to 2 concerts in these last couple of weeks. Korn concert took advantage of the free parking. Horrible idea, just because I said it's a trek. I said all the way to there, because you can't cut through everything because they have everything gated off. So you literally have to basically walk around the entire perimeter, then loop back around, and then loop around the gate. So lesson learned. Next time, paid for the paid parking to see the hottest band in the world, Kiss.
It's pretty cool.
How was Grandpa?
It was actually pretty good, man. Like
Grandpa Gene.
Like for dudes in their freaking 70s, man. Like it was a pretty awesome show. Like just the pyrotechnics. Like so they actually sounded decent. They said they sung basically. I said all of their hits. Ended with rock and roll all night with a huge confetti show. Like it was.
Nice.
It was really cool. Like it was really cool. Plus, so we had floor seats, and so I found out. I said at that venue, I actually not necessarily a huge fan of the floor seats. I'm actually a fan of that section up, which is that 100 level section. So lesson learned there as well. If I'm ever seeing another concert there, but then I said, I'm like, okay. Like I said, the nice thing about floor seats is that you can kind of sort of meld and bend your way through the crowd very, very sneakily. So you can get pretty much right on the stage. So did that. I said for a few things, got caught a couple times, but then just went around back to the other side and then just did it again because why not? What are they gonna do? So yes, saw Kiss. Like Kiss played for 3 hours straight.
Jeez, that's a marathon for those old guys too, man.
Yeah,
crazy.
You talk about a thing, but like you think about it, like about how good they sound, right? They've got, I'm gonna say at least 50 years of practice as a band. Like you would think that they should at this point, like thousands
of concerts.
At this point, they should sound good. If they didn't sound good, you're like, oh, this is bad.
But yeah, it was like I said, it was I was literally just impressed by the fact, like I said, one, like they do basically all the Kiss things, right? It's like Gene Simmons, puts the blood in his mouth and goes all crazy with the blood in his mouth, and then he puts the Bacardi 151 in his mouth and breathes fire and stuff. Still, the dude's like 70 years old, he's still doing it. So I'm like, hey, props to that dude. Plus, then like I said, they're still like I said going on like wires and stuff across the crowd. Like for some old guys that. They still got it. Like I said, they sounded pretty good, and they played for a little over 3 hours. Like it was crazy.
I had to look it up just because I see Kiss was formed January 1973, so they are at 48 years as of today, going on 49. So 2023 will be the 50th anniversary of Kiss.
Wow, that's crazy. I found a website that estimates that they've had almost 2,500 shows. Which is insane too, right? That 2,500 times they've gotten up on stage in front of people. So they're pros. Like they're not my favorite band by any means, but they're one of those bands where I wouldn't mind seeing live because it seems like they've always put on a good show, and it's cool that they can still do it in their later years.
They're all in the late 60s or 70s.
Yeah, definitely not my favorite band at all. Anyways, right? I said it, but it was just one of those things where I'm like, hey, you know what? They were here, so we had to see them. Plus, I said I've had these tickets for 2.5 years.
Yeah.
Like I said, the last, like I said, kind of like a couple of years of concerts were canceled because of COVID. But no, yeah. So with everything being back to normal, it was great. Put on a great show, pyrotechnics, everything. Like it was awesome. Yeah. So yeah, definitely. I had the recording. I had the recording. I said on my Insta. So like I said, if you check out my Insta, you can actually see the opening of the concert when they played Detroit Rock City. It's pretty cool.
Very cool. So speaking of cool, looks like we got a Geek Together raid over on Twitch. So,
Geek Together raid.
Shout out to Geek Together for sending people our way. It seems like, well, if you didn't know, Geek Together is live every Saturday on Twitch an hour before us, usually at like 6:30 or 7 Pacific time. So be sure to check them out. It seems like a good time for a shout out to the chat. I see we've got Just a Little Podcast Cookie. Congrats on your 100th episode of your podcast, dude. That's awesome. We got Display Geek, Ed, of course. That means Jessica can't be too far away. Nerdy Curious Rachel. I know I saw M. Newland 77. Shout out to Michael and the Toy Rewind podcast. And shout out to Manny because he's a great guy.
Buddy.
What up?
Yeah. So real quick, Maroon 5, even though they're also not my favorite band, just like Kiss and Jeremy's favorite band, it was my wife's choice. But for their entire set, it is like hit after hit, right? It's every song they played is a song that I knew from the radio, which was kind of cool. I didn't realize how deep their catalog was with like top 10 Billboard hits.
They have a lot.
So they have a lot.
Surprisingly, a large number of hits from way before you can remember. Like that was Maroon 5.
Yeah.
Like I heard a song the other day, and I cannot for the life of me whatever the name of the song was, and I was like, who is that? And I tried like SoundHound, right? And like to figure out who it was. And I was like, holy shit, it's Maroon 5.
Yeah. Right. And no new stuff. It was just playing the hits, man. So I appreciated that. And then earlier that week, I went to Emo's Austin and saw the Bomb Pops, which I was super stoked for because the Bomb Pops did a new album like right as COVID was hitting. Death in Venice Beach, and I played that like crazy early pandemic. So it was really cool to see them play all those songs live. I was really there just for them. They were the opening band, but it was a really great lineup. It was if you're like 2004 like emo screamo kid, it was Hawthorne Heights, Sense Fail, and Bayside. So it was actually a really, really good lineup and a pretty rad show. So that was my first live music in Austin too. Was going to see the Bomb Pops at Emo's, and it was legit.
Really like that venue. It
was cool, man. Yeah, like it was my first time there.
Old warehouse. Yeah, it's pretty cool.
How did you feel about the COVID cards, right? Like the checking your vaccination records or getting a COVID test. Do you feel like that slowed anything down? Because I really. For both shows I went to, it was super quick. I was kind of surprised. Like,
they didn't do it. They didn't do it at either one of our shows.
They didn't. Oh, they did it. They did it at both. They did it at both the ones I went to. They didn't. I mean, they didn't care. They just look at it real quick, like and move on. So it's basically a joke.
Yeah. Well, honestly, with what I was like, it was interesting, right? Just because because we brought the card. I said I brought the cards just in case. Yeah. They didn't check. They didn't do anything else with that. But like I said, they had a sign right past the thing that said, like, hey, face covering is required. Yeah, like obviously, literally no one heeded that advice at all. But like I said, I don't know.
There's no face coverings. I was like, I got there early for Bomb Pops because I knew they were going to go on first, and like I don't want to miss the one band I want to see. But I was pleasantly surprised. They checked everybody's stuff ahead of time, so like when the time for the gates open came, like everybody was all ready, and they just let you inside. It was super smooth and super easy. So I saw like Less Than Jake was in Dallas like earlier this month, and I saw a picture on like their Instagram or something. There's this huge line to get in, and I was like, oh man, like I don't want to mess with that, right? Like cons and stuff, sometimes like it just gets super delayed when you're checking bags and doing all this crazy stuff.
Yeah.
But I was pleasantly surprised that it was super smooth, even with like some additional restrictions.
Yeah, both of our shows, like I said, they literally
didn't even care.
They didn't care. They didn't do anything.
Yeah, that's
like
awesome.
Honestly, I thought out of any of the two shows that I thought they would have done it, I thought they would have done it at the Kiss one. The Korn concert, I knew that they weren't going to do anything because, maybe because like I said, Jonathan Davis was actually still recovering from COVID. So, for the funny thing is, right? So, like, if you've seen a video that I have on my Insta, that he has a chair on the stage because he gets tired and he actually ends up like doing half the concert from the chair, like
just plopping down, be like, I'm just gonna sit.
He's just gonna sit for a little while. But no, at any of the two shows that I thought they might have, I thought they would have done it at the Kiss just because it is an older crowd, right? Like, and
total tangent, but at the Bomb Pop show, like the people going around checking, they said it wasn't like their choice, it wasn't the band's choice, it was like Live Nation's choice or something. So
it's probably whoever probably puts on the concert is like, whoever's sponsoring it, right, is probably the one that's like, oh, we need to do this or not. The venue's probably like, do what you want, like
they don't care, but they have to follow the rules for the people paying them. Yeah. All right, cool. Anything else, Jeremy? Did you buy anything? Like a hot toy?
Yeah, I did buy some hot toys.
You did.
I keep on forgetting that it's like I said, it's been that long.
It's been that long. Well, hold on. Did you say you bought a hot toy?
That's hot. That's hot. That's hot. That's hot. That's hot. That was hot. That's hot. That is really hot.
Oh, that was the genius idea I had earlier today.
I'm very happy that you snuck that in, Larry, because I haven't scrolled down on my new little list thing to see that that's.
Yeah. I did it just before I logged in, man.
That is literally amazing. And I can't wait just because that's going to get played a lot.
Yeah.
Looking
back at your stash, who'd you get this week or month?
I bought I think I didn't announce it. I don't think I said I bought a Venom. So I
don't think we talked about that. I think you have a picture of it, but we didn't actually talk about it.
Yeah, so I have the Venom figure. So it looks super awesome in person. Like I actually didn't pre-order it. I said, but then I'm like, okay, like, hey, maybe I do want this. And so I'm like even on like Sideshow Collectibles, I said it wasn't available. Like I said, because they still have them out to like 2022. I said before you can even order it. So I'm like, you know what? I just want to pick this up. So utilizing my Google Translate skills, like I said, I've become the master of like ordering stuff from overseas. And so like I said, if anybody, I know Ed saw this, saw my story on this. So I ended up getting this Venom picture. I said from Hong Kong, and the package came, and I'm like, hey, that's some really weird wrapping paper that they put on it. I'm like, I don't know what's going on there. So I look at it a little bit closer. They literally they shipped this thing not with basically like bulk posters. They literally covered the entire box in stamps. There had to be at least 500 to 1,000 stamps on here. Like I said, it was just sheets and sheets of stamps.
Which here's the thing I have. Wouldn't it have been easier to just go to the post office, right? Or whatever, I don't know what the Chinese, if they have a post office or however it works, have them weigh it and print out the single little thing and pop it on there versus having to go, because they had to go somewhere to buy stamps. No one has that many on hand. They went somewhere to go buy the stamps.
It's not like they only sold one toy to Jeremy too. Like, how does that work? I don't know.
There were so many. I sent the picture of all these guys. I'm like, they were literally so many stamps.
Well, and here's the other question. Here is the other question I have. Hot toys are pretty heavy. Just generally, like in terms of if you're shipping it for something that's going to be stamped, like obviously it's the weight that adds it. Do they ever get to the point where they don't have enough stamps to cover it, and do they just double up somehow? Does that work?
Well, I just feel bad for the postal service
who has to count them.
Who had to go through and count them all. Like,
yep, you're good.
like
yeah, maybe no. Larry's point is correct. It was you know what? No.
Yeah. Maybe that's how they save a couple bucks or something, is by using physical stamps. I don't know.
Close enough. No.
It was crazy. However, though, I said my favorite picture that I took of the side of the box, which I feel is a future piece of artwork because it has some deeper meaning, is they made the American flag out of Chinese stamps. I appreciate the imagery and I appreciate the symbolism. The symbolism there, like it was definitely one of the most interesting packages I've ever gotten in the mail because it was literally covered in stamps. But then, as it just goes to show that Google Translate can be your friend when ordering in Chinese.
It's pretty cool. What an amazing world we live in.
Yes.
Right. 30 years ago, you couldn't order stuff from China that easily.
Where Google Translate was actually able to distinguish and rearrange sentence structure to tell you what it actually means.
Yeah, I've become a master Google Translate, and I said Chinese. I said US dollar to Hong Kong dollar conversions.
Yeah.
13 cents. I said Hong Kong dollar is roughly 13 cents at current exchange rates.
It's good to know as you're going through it's this many dollars. Is that a good deal? I don't know.
In the case of Venom, oh shit, that's a good deal.
That's awesome. That's awesome, man. Well, I'm glad you're still picking up figures and stuff. I got a big one, right? But I got. Oh, I made a big topic. But Scott, do you have anything really for It's Been a Week?
I don't really have anything. You guys did all these fun adventures. I sat home and did nothing. So
well, I'm sorry. You were invited to Dallas, which is my big one. So yeah, you guys, we haven't talked because I went to Fan Expo Dallas by myself. With Ian. So it was cool. We decided to go up on Friday. It was a 3-day con, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. Because I saw a lot of people saying they were going to go on Saturday, right? Fan Expo Dallas actually like posted up a post and we're like, hey, we're excited about this weekend. We're looking forward to seeing you. What day are you going to be out there? And they're all these Saturdays. And I'm like, it's going to be busy on Saturday. I'm like, let's go a day early on Friday. And that was a super smart choice. So we ended up staying the night, Friday night downtown, which is cool because I've never really spent any time in Dallas, actually at all, ever. So we stayed downtown, but we got there a little bit after it opened. And it wasn't busy at all. So there was a whole bunch of the My Hero Academia voice actors that we wanted to meet. So we were able to meet all of them, get our pop signed, get Ian's poster signed, which is really cool too, because there's like that's signed by a ton of people. And we just started that with when Jeremy and I went to Houston Comic Palooza like 2 months ago, and we've pretty much met everybody from My Hero since then. So it's pretty legit. But yeah, they were super nice. Lines were super smooth for that whole thing. The setup for the autograph area was way better than like Bell County Comic Con, where lines were packed and running into each other and all that stuff.
That's not that hard to do.
I know it wasn't hard. It wasn't hard to top that, but I felt like it was worth mentioning. It was
okay.
Go ahead.
I'm gonna chime in here though, because when you talk about it, how well a con manages lines, is a deciding factor on whether it was a good con or not.
Yeah, absolutely.
If the lines are a mess, even if it's a good one, like sometimes it like, it's like I'll bring up San Diego, right? No matter what, it's generally a pretty good con. But there are sometimes when the lines, you're like, where does this even? Like,
and
end? Like, what the hell is going on here?
And that's fair for San Diego because that's tens of 100,000 people. Like that's what Bell County Comic Con was too. Is that all those lines are merged into each other, and it was just super frustrating. This one clearly labeled. They had like a volunteer or two at each table, and they kept it organized and smooth, and everybody knew where they're supposed to be. And like I said, the lines were really pretty short, at least on Friday. So we were able to go through everything super fast. I think we went home with like 9 signed pops, which is a lot. Like, I was just saying, like, I was just thinking to myself, like earlier this year, that I'm kind of done with getting pop signed, and then bam, like we get into My Hero Academia and we get all these pop signed. But it's okay. They turned out really cool. We had a really good time. Everybody was super nice. It was really impressive. Like even just getting there, the badge pickup was super smooth, right? Like to pick up our badge, it took like no time at all. There's like one person in line in front of us. No hassle. They have RFIDs in them, which I was kind of surprised. Yeah, right. Like
that's like San Diego.
Tap in, tap out. I'm like, okay. They didn't make us tap in and tap out though. It was weird and dumb, but whatever. Like the second day, they didn't even care.
They paid extra to get the RFID things, and
then they didn't use it.
Didn't really use them.
So I'm not sure what was up with that, but yeah. So tap in, tap out the first day. It was awesome. Even the line to purchase badges, if you hadn't got them, seemed pretty short to get in. Super quick, super easy. So that was great. Like I was really impressed with how they ran it. We spent basically all our time in the autograph area, meeting celebrities on Friday night. We walked around, checked out a couple vendors. Nothing too crazy. We did stop by the Pop Collectors Alliance booth and ran into Piper, which was cool because I had never met him before. Rick was there too, but he was walking around. We ran into him on Saturday, so I was able to talk with him too, which is cool. They had clearly they have a Funko Pop booth. They had one of the best Funko Pop booths I've seen in a while, right? Like I'm generally not going to cons looking for pops, and I didn't buy any this time either. Big surprise. But they had a really cool booth. They had a ton of pops. I was impressed. I mean, they should have a ton of pops because their grand opening of their new store in Keller, Texas was today. So if you're anywhere around the Dallas Fort Worth area, Pop Collectors Alliance has a new store called Pca Designer Toys. It is open. It looks really cool. They got pops and a bunch of other cool stuff. They were super stoked about it. I wasn't able to get up to the grand opening today, but I want to go really soon and try to check it out. Maybe when it's a little more chill and we can say hi and hang out for a little bit. I think they have a podcast area, so might have to record something too, which I would prefer to do, which would be fun. But yeah, talk to those guys. really great stuff. And then, but before we left, we were getting a little hungry, right? So there's a whole like mini makeshift food court area. They had barbecue, they had smoothies, they had pizza, and they had Chick-fil-A. So it was a legit food area, which was cool. I was impressed by that too. So we got some Chick-fil-A Friday night, and then headed back to the hotel. Got up early Saturday morning. There was like one more person we needed to meet. It was Roger Bumpus, for the voice of Squidward from SpongeBob. So that was cool. Met that dude. Super quick, super nice. For second in line, it was easy. And then we walked around the floor and checked that out. They had like a small cosplay area with some like professional cosplayers. That was pretty cool. The kind of the like Star Wars group and like the G.I. Joe costume group, right? Like those things were there too. Like you said, a lot of cons. The one thing I was kind of surprised about though, the only kind of negative, like Dallas is a big city, right? I figured Fan Expo Dallas was a pretty big con. I feel like their vendor area, like the exhibitors, was a lot smaller than some of the other cons. It was definitely smaller than Comic Palooza, definitely smaller than like Phoenix Comic Con. It was probably like I was trying to compare it. It's maybe a little bit bigger than like Amazing Comic Con Las Vegas or like a Game On Expo. I feel like it's kind of Game On Expo size, which isn't huge. So that was kind of the only negative. It was,
low end of the mid tier.
Yeah, right. It's not super small, but it's definitely like medium size, which puts you in the category with like a Game On Expo. So that we really didn't look around too much on Saturday because we were able to walk around all the exhibitors pretty quick. They had some cool like statues and stuff to check out, some pops, of course, comic books. It was cool. What was there was great. The aisles were wide too, so I totally appreciated that. It at no point really did it feel congested or anything like that. Again, Bell County Comic Con, where you couldn't even walk around. That was bad. It was complete opposite of this. Looks like Rach from Nerdy Curious has been there before. She said it's definitely a medium-sized con and kind of her favorite size. I agree. Like it was a good size. I really appreciated the fact that it was well organized and I didn't feel like I was running into anybody.
Here's the one thing I'll say about the Texas medium cons.
Yeah.
Arizona medium cons also got the medium celebrities. You didn't get you got a bunch of the kind of standard ones, but you never got any like the really big. There wasn't any like surprisers. Any A-listers generally didn't show up or anything.
Yeah.
Whereas even like the Bell County and some of the smaller cons out here, well, smaller by medium, right?
Yeah.
Kind of a opposite thing. Like you see at least one or two decent A-list people showing up. So it was
and this one had cool
strange.
ones.
Wait.
Oh,
Ed, bring something up. I have to get to it.
Yeehaw!
There we go. Scroll. Texas. Yeah, no, that's a really good point. So I was like, once you actually see all the celebrities at their booths lined up and stuff, there were quite a few. I think I did the count last time we were live, right? There's like 15 or so, like My Hero voice actors, which is quite a few, plus everybody else. They had Zachary Levi was there, Stephen Amell, William Shatner. So there were some pretty big names, but they had a decent amount of guests. And like Ed asked if I think that maybe they kept the vendors small, for the spacing. I don't know, because I was talking with Mike from Talking Pops, and he had said like one of the things he really liked about Fan Expo Dallas when they went a couple years ago was that that there was a lot of space to walk around and stuff too. So I think that they, rather than cram everybody in, they just kind of appreciate space at that con, which is cool. I do know that they had a bunch of celebrities and guests cancel. So I mean, they would have had even more if no COVID, and they probably would have had better guests if no COVID. Because historically they've had some really top tier guests too at this one. It just didn't happen this year. So speaking of Mike from Talking Pops, shout out to those guys, and shout out to Mike for the tip. I mentioned the Chick-fil-A, but they also had really good soft pretzels. Like there's like a little normal food court kind of stand thing, and I got a pretzel because Mike said it was a good pretzel, and yeah, it was a good pretzel.
Nothing beats a good pretzel.
Yeah, can't argue with that. And then like it's insanely like downtown at Dallas. On the way out, it's right by the JFK assassination site. So Drew took
the grassy knoll.
Yeah, took the slightly long route around downtown to drive past the grassy knoll and see the big X on the street. It's a lot smaller than I thought. Like it's really tiny.
Yeah. So you drove by the book depository.
Yes, the book depository. There's like a museum and stuff in there too that I wouldn't mind checking out at some point. But I figured since I was in Dallas, who knows if I'll ever be back. I at least had to drive past the JFK assassination site because we were right there. So we did that. And then on the way home, STS Guys staple, we stopped at Buc-ee's in Temple, Texas. And it's Buc-ee's, so it was awesome. I got the Halloween shirt, which is awesome. So I got the new 2021 Halloween shirt from Buc-ee's. And I was like, oh, Scott's wearing his Buc-ee shirt right now. So it's not a Texas trip unless you're going to Buc-ee's.
Nope. I'm gonna have to go take a look. You're gonna have to send a picture of the holiday shirt to see if it's worth me driving up there to get the Buc-ee's holiday shirt.
I will send you a picture, like I said, next weekend, because I guarantee you I will stop at a Buc-ee's.
Yeah.
I said on my way to San Antonio.
You get if you go to San Antonio, you get the new Braunfels one.
Yes,
right?
I will stop at the new Braunfels Buc-ee's,
which is a solid Buc-ee's. So yeah, I'm glad I went. So thank you, Fan Expo Dallas, for having us out. It was cool. It was good to get to a con. Right, it's just always nice being out and doing that kind of stuff. So busy couple of weeks though, man.
That has been.
Yeah.
But you know what else I said? You know what else can keep you busy? I said while you're waiting around for 2 weeks of STS Guys Podcast.
What?
New streaming shows on Netflix.
Hey, that's a segue.
I would say not just Netflix though.
Not just Netflix.
No.
All right, because I have to talk about it. Larry, I chatted this to the group earlier. Scott, I need to know if you've seen this.
Okay,
like
up to 3 episodes.
Okay,
I've seen the first 3.
Is it like a so what we're talking about is, like I said, it's the latest craze on the internet. It actually shut down the internet in South Korea,
really?
Just because so many people are streaming it in South Korea, and we're talking about this Squid Game. If you don't know what this is, it's basically where people are promised basically a whole bunch of money to wipe off their debts. They volunteer to play kids games, and then basically, if they don't beat the level of the game, they're eliminated. And by eliminated, they mean killed. Yeah. So literally, the first episode, like I said, you literally start off with a whole bunch of people, and half those people are automatically dead. Like I said, by the end of the first episode.
Yeah.
So I'm going to spoil a little bit of the second episode here, but I got to give it to a point. So Jeremy says at the end of the first episode, like half of them go. What is the most mindfuck part of the show is, unlike all these other ones, like you see, like they're, the people are kind of trapped in the game or whatever, and they give them the option. They're like, all right, if majority votes, basically, that you all get to just leave. You can, like, everyone can just walk away, and it passes and everyone leaves. But the lure of the money brings like almost everybody back, so they can continue with these games, knowing that there's a potential that they die. And it's that idea of like, you want to feel for these characters, but it's like they're driven by greed. A greed-driven thing. Like they need to fill their debts, but also they have all the extra money once all that's done. Like that's the idea. So Nerdy Curious brings up the point. It is the Hunger. It's basically a fucked up version of the Hunger Games. Like, so it's kind of like the Hunger Games, but that was like, everyone has to please. Like, I don't know the best way. It's like the kind of Hunger Games. So to me, that was the what was the one with the people on the island that had the bomb collars? That was the what the hell was it called? It's like it's a WWE. No. So it was the one that basically is the Hunger Games. It was like a Japanese version of the Hunger Games that they. It was like a complete ripoff.
I don't remember.
Those two movies were eerily similar, but it still had the thing of like, in lieu of a war, it's like we're gonna do these people all fight each other, right? And that's how this works. Whereas this is literally just like, we're gonna fucking torment you.
They take all the down on their luck people who owe money to whoever for whatever reasons, and they're desperate, so they take them and they're like, hey, we got all this money, right? It's the rich people like showing off, and it's one of those things, right? When we're like some rich people like hunting people in the desert or something a couple years ago. It's kind of like the South Korean version of that. They're just, it's a sport, you know, and they want to watch. It's entertainment.
It's like if you mix basically Hunger Games and The Purge and, like I said, a couple other things together. So if you remember me a long time ago on the podcast talking about the show, the Portuguese show 3%, that's also on Netflix. It's very much similar to that. Yeah.
Where it's like a game show determines your like standing, right? There's this kind of like a game show with like easy games that have consequences.
Yeah, and right? So basically, if you're part of the 3%, you basically get to go to live in the island and have free medical care and this, that, and the other. So it's like it's almost like I said, a future based thing, right? But no, I started watching this on a whim even before I read about it online. So I'm like, it's trending on Netflix. This, that, and the other, and then it immediately had me hooked just because I'm like, okay, it's in Korean and dubbed. I'm like, okay, so I'm like, it's automatic. Okay, it's keeping my interest just because of that, because it's number one and it's not in English. I'm like, so it must be good. To be good. So it has to be good.
That's exactly how I found it too. I went on Netflix to look for something to watch. Right there, it popped up number one, Squid Game. I'm like, I have no idea what this is, but same. It's not cool American thing. Yeah, and there's all the bad guys, you know, all the guys running the game all have these really cool masks. It was a trip, man. It was a good show. It gets a little slow during the middle, like episode 4 and 5. Mm-hmm. Like it kind of lost my interest, but I powered through. I started it yesterday after work and I finished it like this morning, the last episode. So I all 9 episodes, like really fast. It's pretty good.
Here's what I really want.
What do you want? What do you really want?
What do I really want to? I can't even remember what the things. I derailed myself. So I'm a big fan of anime, right? Everyone probably knows.
Yeah.
We'll say a pseudo weeb, right? When it comes to that stuff. And there is tons of people trying to bring those to like take an anime and adapt it into a TV show or a movie. It always sucks. It's not done well. This to me is the thing where I want to point to them and be like, that's how you bring an anime to life. There wasn't one, but it has the feel that this is where that was like inspired from. And they're just like, they took that concept, like, all right, cool. Let's apply those lessons. I don't know how to say it. It's like an anime.
Yeah.
It's an anime.
Like you said, it's
live action without the anime that came before it.
Like literally, first episode, like I said, the reason it had to be hooked, right? It be even beyond, like I said, turning it number one and being, like I said, a Korean-based show. But end of the show, right, where they're playing basically red light, green light with a robot.
Like the robot was cool. Oh yeah, the whole set, the sets, and like the set design, the colors. It's a really cool visual show too.
So and the fact that it's called Squid Game, I'm like, okay,
what is Squid Game?
I have to say, to your point, Jeremy, the sets are great. I think third episode when they have to like cut the little like shape out of the cracker, and it's in basically this like warehouse that's been painted like a playground, and there's like kids playground equipment all around, and at the end people are just getting shot that failed. I thought it was great. Like they did a really good job of like set design.
Yeah. What do you think about the dubbing though? Because Jeremy, you mentioned the dubbing.
The dubbing's horrible. The dubbing is horrible.
Some of the voices did not match, and
the main guy, his voice does not match.
No,
his character at all, because it's so overexcited. Like I said, for what his for what his reactions are.
It's like they didn't actually show the guy. Here's what it is. It feels like they didn't show the actor what was going on screen and just gave him a script. So, and they're like, all right, this is kind of what's going on. And he's like, oh, okay. But like has no context about like what the guy's facial expression looks like.
The best comparison though is so go and watch the trailer for the show. Because I watched the show before I watched the trailer for the show, right? Yeah. So go and watch the trailer for the show, because it's actually just in the natural Korean language, and it has the main guy speaking like his natural Korean speaking voice compared to his Americanized like high pitched excited voice. Yeah. Completely 100% different.
Yeah.
And they didn't get somebody that matched the tone of the voice, right?
There's several characters like that just don't quite match, and it's almost a little distracting at some points. But
it is. But I said it's funny. It's good enough to It's good enough to grow. But yeah, it's like, so Larry, if you haven't seen it yet, so if you liked this show, go watch 3%.
I remember you talking about it. It was it was when you were in Arizona. Still.
Yeah,
like I do remember that. So no, I have never watched 3%. And Ed brings up a fun fact. Larry hasn't seen blank show, fill in the blank with the many shows, but I powered through the Korean Murder Death Kill show. That happens sometimes.
Yeah. So
you know why? Here's the reason why.
Why?
It's because it was just weird enough to where it basically fits. It fits Larry's. It fits Larry's. Okay, this checks all of my weird boxes. I have to watch this.
Yeah, and I didn't know what it was. Yeah, it's new. I didn't know what it was. I like the masks. That's really what drew me in. It was like cool masks
and number one show, and it's in Korean.
Yeah. It was crazy.
But here's my theory with Larry.
Yeah.
If you take any show from movie that was in the 90s, there's a good chance that he hasn't seen it, right? Late 80s, 90s.
Yeah.
Because at that point it was old. And Larry, I know that you prioritize the new.
That is true.
Generally over the old.
It's easier to watch the new. It's easier to watch the new stuff. Yeah, that is totally fair. Yeah. Well, speaking of new, Jess asks if we're still watching Marvel's What If on Disney Plus. Are you guys caught up on What If?
I caught up today. The Thor one sucked.
I skipped that one.
It was
I wasn't
bad.
even interested.
The Ultron one wasn't bad. It was pretty good. But it was like, so I think that the reason why I didn't like the Ultron one was like it literally killed what happened in Infinity War.
Oh yeah.
So basically, like I said, you have basically Ultron or Vision, right? Although I said Vision, Ultron. Spoilers for anybody who hasn't seen it, right? So literally, Thanos comes out of his little cloud, has all the Infinity Gems besides the Mind Stone, and then literally Vision and Ultron just freaking slices him in half. Like you couldn't have done that in Infinity War.
Yeah.
Like he just literally he's there, and then
2 seconds. Yeah, it was way too easy.
Yeah, so that's the only thing that I didn't really like about that episode. I'm like, okay, I guess, sure. Yeah, cool concept for the supreme version of Ultron, for actual Age of Ultron.
Yeah.
But
yeah, I like that episode. I had no interest in Thor one, and I think we've talked about all the others.
Yeah, Thor one,
I like the darker stories.
Yes.
Okay.
Now, I do like, big spoilers, that we are getting more with the Dark Doctor from there. But like I don't know. The happy fun
like
Thor house party movie, whatever, but it's planetary house party. It was just I didn't like it. Yeah. Darcy ends up marrying Howard the Duck in Vegas.
What?
Yeah, it's so weird and stupid.
Yeah.
It's like we need something to fill up some episodes with, and it's like someone drunk one night said, well, dude, what if Thor just threw a rager party and then that's the story.
He's just a glorified frat boy.
It's literally
right. It's like, go for it, man. Go for it. Ed said, I was just thinking of this, but Ed says there's only one episode left this season, so that's good.
Because this week it's a 2-parter for the last.
Oh, cliffhanger then, or is there only one episode left? When does Hawkeye start then? I'm Googling slowly.
Yeah.
Because November 24th. So we're still a month away, almost 2 months away from Hawkeye. And then Book of Boba Fett starts the last couple of days of the year. So there's going to probably be a little bit of a lull in Disney Plus stuff, I guess, throughout November.
Shang-Chi's coming to Disney Plus.
Oh. That's cool. I'll rewatch that.
That's on Disney Plus on Disney Plus Day, I think that they announced.
Oh, yeah.
And then you get Eternals coming up on November 5th.
Right. So that's pretty close.
Didn't Venom just come out this weekend?
Venom came out.
It's not
yesterday.
MCU,
Today.
Well,
it's MCU adjacent.
Well,
yeah, like yeah,
and again, yeah. But
it's still a comic book movie.
It's still the thing where I think they're pushing. It's always Sony's attempt to be like, see, guys, we're part of this, and then Disney's like, it's not real. Like, that's not canon. We just let them do that. Like, so like.
The internet already spoiled that one.
Yeah.
Thanks a lot, internet.
Yeah.
But I think okay.
I'm gonna see it tomorrow, so it's.
Yeah,
I'm not gonna spoil it. I won't spoil anything. I'm gonna talk about the first one. You would think that the giant spaceship, satellite, would have made the news in one of the other Avengers thing. Like nobody showed up with the crashed alien spaceship. If it was part of the MCU.
Did you see it, Scott?
No, I'm talking about
the first one.
That's from the first one.
I don't remember.
I said I'm not going to spoil anything on the second one.
I have to watch the first one.
Yeah.
But on the first one, there's a big event that creates the first part of it. It's well-known thing. You think an Avenger might have showed up or something if that was actually in the MCU.
In that version of that in that timeline.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. So who knows?
Yeah.
Things are getting weird.
Yeah. Things are getting weird in the multiverse.
So I haven't watched it still, but Scott, did you see Free Guy?
No,
it's on Soap today.
Okay, good.
Yeah. So
watch,
if you need something to watch,
I'm pretty sure they have a version of Venom on Soap today.
I haven't looked yet, but I did see Free Guy was out there, so I wanna watch that sometime. But
Free Guy was really good. Like Free Guy was really good. Still one of my favorite movies from this year.
Yeah, I definitely check it out probably this week. That's next on my list.
Like your son would really like it.
Yeah, he wants to see it. We were going to go see it in the theater. We just never got around to it. So now that it's at home, we'll just watch it at home.
Ed, Free Guy's awesome. I washed my hands hard on that one.
Nice.
Hey, you got to keep those hands clean here.
Yeah,
that's what the STS guys are all about.
Right. Well done. Anything else? You guys watching anything else? Scott, did you have anything else? Because you mentioned other non-Netflix. Were you watching something on like Hulu or
just
Paramount?
Not necessarily, but this is the kind of time I think within the last couple of weeks where all the adult animation shows are coming back on, right? Like Bob's Burgers came back.
Oh yeah,
Earth and all that, and so cool. I watched that on Hulu. So I was just like, nice, for Hulu, big thing is the return of.
I was very glad.
TV.
I was very glad that Bob's Burgers was back. Same, I watched that on Hulu. Goldberg's is back. They're way too old for that show. I hope this is the last season, but Goldberg's is back too. If you're still watching that, I saw Ed, totally not related, but Ed posted a really cool picture of his Scrubs Pops on Instagram earlier today. It's like their 20th anniversary since the first episode of Scrubs. So.
Oh, I meant to ask you. Did you get? Speaking of Sign Pops, did you get to meet Mario Lopez? And
how could I forget about Mario Lopez, scheduled guest at Fan Expo Dallas, who canceled just days before it started? So no, I did not get to meet Mario Lopez again. Right? Well, technically, so yes, you're right. It's twice this year, right? He was supposed to be at Fan Expo Dallas. No, canceled. He was supposed to be Houston Comic Palooza. Canceled. The reason I bought the pop, which I hadn't told you guys. He's on Access Hollywood, right? They record Access Hollywood right outside Universal Studios. And we were going to Universal Studios in 2019, I think. And I saw on Instagram and stuff, he took selfies of signing autographs and stuff with people before the show or during the show. And I'm like, oh, cool. I want to meet Mario Lopez. So I actually bought the pop to bring to Universal Studios to meet him. But that week that we were going, on Monday, he had legs, ankle surgery or something, knee surgery, and he was out. So I'm actually 0-3 on Mario Lopez. I'm about to give up.
You struck out with Mario Lopez.
Right? Yeah, 3 swings and a miss, and I'm probably
fucking
never
Slater,
man.
Fucking Slater.
So if anybody knows another event that Larry might go to with Mario Lopez,
maybe he'll still come to Phoenix Comic-Con or something. I don't know. And cancel, but he did post a nice video message apologizing. I said work got in the way, so that was kind of cool. Out of all the people who canceled for Fan Expo Dallas, I didn't see anybody else do that. So little respect to that guy for being cool and wanting to be here. But when you're a working actor in Hollywood, sometimes you get called in to do some good things. Can't come hang out in Dallas. Oh well.
AC Slater, what a letdown.
AC Slater.
One day. But Mark Paul Gosselaar was there. His table when we walked by, much busier at Fan Expo Dallas than it was at Houston Comic Con.
Well, that's good. Good for him.
I was happy for him.
Good for him.
He looked a little sad in Houston.
He did. Like he was right on the verge of like sad Virgil, like said in Houston.
It was disappointing for him. I felt bad.
Well, especially said when you just basically on the complete opposite side of the room, right? So you have Mark Paul Gosselaar, and then you basically have Chris Sabat. Said with the line literally wrapping around and then cued in another line, and then nobody over here. So like.
He's just watching that guy make money.
Yeah, exactly. Like, that's exactly what's happening. Except just from across from like, you son of a bitch. Like,
yeah. I could have been the voice of Vegeta.
Yeah,
I turned it down. That would have been funny.
Okay, so you think that's funny? That would have actually time out.
The
parody, if that was ever the case, would be the greatest thing ever. Like,
who knows? I'm starting rumors.
Imagine, just, and not as an actor or anything like that, but just like, or like a voice role. Like, just imagine being at a Comic-Con as an actor, having turned down a role that made somebody else like that was their career kickoff or anything like that. So you're already slighted, and then you're at the Comic-Con and nobody likes the other person. Like,
yeah,
oh.
Rough. I'm sure it's happened. Like it had to have. Man, I don't know, man. Just make your life choices and you just roll with it.
Hey,
at least you were always Zach Morris.
Yeah,
you'll always be Zach Morris.
So, if you want to check us out on the social medias, you can find us on. Oh, no, hold on. Yeah, you can find us on crossthestreamsmedia.com with links to all of our social media, and you can listen to all our episodes. We're super proud to be part of Cross the Streams Media. It's a podcast group, so go there. You can find other great podcasts, and you can find all the links to our social media, like I said, or you can just go follow us at STS Guys on Instagram. We're on Twitter at STS Guys, and we're on Facebook at The STS Guys, and I'm Larry from The STS Guys.
Shilling like a villain.
Shilling like a villain.
Ding, 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 ding. Ding, 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 ding.
Thanks, Nate. Because we haven't talked about bingo. If you'd like to get your own STS Guys bingo card, go to podcastbingo.com/STS Guys and play bingo with us. That's a bingo square.
Bingo!
If you like Funko Pops, go to shumistore.com, enter code STS Guys. You're going to save 10%. If you want to get some new t-shirts, some new black t-shirts, go to animatedapparelcompany.com, enter code STS Guys. You're going to save 10%, and you're going to get free shipping. Animated Apparel Company. It's the best.
It's the best.
And if you like podcasts, you should check out our friends who have podcasts.
I don't have friends. I got family.
Every time.
It's pretty great. It's pretty great. Just like Talkin' Pops, Pop Collectors Alliance, The Dorksmen, Geek Together, Secondary Heroes, The Average Nerd Podcast, Nerdy Curious, Movie Retakes, The Toy Rewind Podcast, 3 Beers and a Mic. Just a Little Podcast, The Totally Rad Movie Podcast, It's Not Dead Yet, and The Figure Booth. Check those guys out. Nate and Josh, they've got t-shirts now. You can find the link on their Instagram. That's all I got.
All right, Jeremy.
All right.
Take us out.
For episode 190 of the STS Guys, I've been Jeremy.
Hey, it's Larry.
And I'm Scott.
And we're the STS Guys. Have a great night, everyone. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Okay, bye.
Bye. Bye-bye.